Hello there. I am now going to share the link for this, and I hope it works. Let's see. All right, I'm publishing the link right now. So if you're not able to be here to go over this now, then you can watch the link, watch it next time. Okay, all right. So we are going to go over the first 4 chapters of The Power of Moments. And I'm telling you, it's already amazing. It's already amazing. Let me see. I put my notes in my phone, so let me pull that up real quick here. All right. Here we go. Okay. So in this book by Chip and DanHeath, and if you haven't gotten it yet, I'm telling you, you're going to find so many ways to use what's in this book. Okay, so it starts off by talking about the moments that we really want to create. And I look at this through a learning and development type thing, like when I create training and stuff. Okay, so but it can be for anything. If you're marketing for your marketing business, or if you're just, trying to influence people. Okay. So they talk about three kinds of things that we have in life. Okay. We have peaks, we have pits, and we have transitions. All right. And these are the moments in our lives that we remember. Okay. We remember our peaks, we remember our pits, and when we make transitions. Okay. And we remember it because it's meaningful, right? There's a lot of emotion in those moments. So they talk about moments of elevation. So there's 4 moments, and the acronym is EPIC. Okay, it's elevation, pride, I is insight, and C is connection. Okay. So he starts off talking about moments of elevation. And moments of elevation are those moments where you boost your sensory perception. Okay. Moments of insight are moments when you rewire your understanding of the world. Okay. So we all understand the world to be a certain way. And moments of insight are when you get to see something else. Okay. Moments of pride, like I said, and then moments of connection. So he tells a story about this lady who she was married, and her husband got very, very sick. So she had to take care of him, okay, while he was very sick, and she did this for some years. So he died. He did die, and some years went by, and she wanted to get into another relationship. Well, she wanted to do this, but she was wearing her wedding ring, and she didn't want to take it off. Like, she really felt like she did not want to take this off, but she did not want to go into this relationship with her wedding ring. Okay, so the counselor that she went to knows that when we make transitions in our lives, okay, these when we turn 21, for instance, or we turn 50, or we get married, okay, these kinds of transitions typically come with some kind of ritual. Okay, so the therapist got with her priest, and they came up with a way to help her remove her ring. So what they did was the priest had a ceremony, set up a ceremony, kind of like a marriage ceremony. But he went through and he asked her questions about, were you a faithful wife? Did you take care of him in sickness and in health? And so she answered questions like that, and her family was around, just as if it was, a mini wedding. And, and then he, speaking for her husband, who was no longer there, thanked her for everything that she'd done. She had fulfilled her role. She'd done what she was supposed to do. And as, to commemorate that, she went ahead and took off the ring. Okay. And gave it to her minister. So, which was easy. It was easy for her to do that because the ritual helped her to show everybody, herself, that she had done a good thing. Okay. She had been there when she was supposed to. She'd done everything she was supposed to do. So now she was giving herself permission to get into another relationship. Okay. I just thought that was an amazing story. Okay. So rituals are things that really help us with these kinds, with transitions. All right. Um, he talked about filling pits. Okay. Pits in our lives are like, you know what the hell the pits are, right? Yes, absolutely. You know what the pits are. Um, so he talked, so to demonstrate pits, he talked about this doctor who had invented a new MRI machine. Very, very excited, very happy to have invented something like that that was really needed by his patients. So he said when the doctor finally saw the machine, he was very excited, walking down the hallway, just so excited about all the work that he and his team had done. And later on, he saw that there were a child that was going in to get an exam. And the child was terrified, okay, because here was this huge machine, this sterile room, and the child not knowing what's going to happen. It was just very scary, okay. And it took a lot of time to calm the child down. And they even said in the book that sometimes there's a percentage of times when they have to actually sedate children who have to go through MRI machines because it's just that traumatic for them. So this was a pit for the child. This was a pit, okay. And he said the doctor went away, feeling really bad. He felt very accomplished at the beginning of the day, but now he felt like, okay, I have a new goal. All right. My goal now is to help these children feel comfortable getting this work done, getting their MRIs done. So then what he came up with was he created the MRI room in a way that was very fun and engaging. So one of the things he did was he made like a jungle theme. So when the kids went in, there were like rocks that they had to jump onto, so the alligator, wouldn't get them. Okay, and then he had, and then the technicians, they were wearing pirate costumes, and the kids were given, for one of them, they were given a ticket, okay, to get into the machine. All right. And he just made all kinds of different scenes. Right. So now when the kids went in there, it wasn't the pits. Like it wasn't fear. He said one child, when they were leaving, asked their mom, can I come back? Nobody ever done that before to get an MRI, So he really felt accomplished. He had turned this pit into something else, into something else. So they were able to more easily, get the information they needed, with the MRI and the child. And there were fewer children that they had to sedate, okay, to get this work done. So that was a pit. And that's a way that you use moments. You design moments to fill pits like that. Okay. He said certain times demand moments. They demand attention. Okay. You got to do something. Okay. One of those is the first day of work, right? You're onboarding. And we know, listen, how terrible onboarding can be. He also said promotions, when you get promoted at work. He said, I have some notes in here about the curriculum that I'm designing. So let me get past that. Oh, okay. So he said the question is, when you're designing these moments, is that what's the game? He said games are very engaging when we play games. Okay, games that we like, especially, they're very engaging. We can play them for hours. Okay. So he said, what's the game? What's the game of whatever it is you're creating? What's the game of what's going to have people, find meaning in what's happening. He talked about in the beginning a hotel. I forget the name of the hotel, but it's very expensive. It's like the whatever those expensive hotels are there in California, but it's not nearly as nice. Okay. He said it used to be like a 2-story apartment building, but they have a popsicle hotline. So when you're sitting next to the pool, okay, there's a phone right next to you, and you just pick it up, and somebody says, "Popsicle hotline, what can I bring you?" And you say, what flavor of popsicle you want, and they do, like he said, they'll wash your clothes and they'll put them on your bed wrapped in some brown paper with a sprig of lavender on the top. Okay. He said the hotel isn't nearly as beautiful and nice as something like, one of those high-end Sheratons or whatever. Okay. But the service, okay, the service is what people talk about. And not because the expensive ones have good service too. Okay. But this is different. Okay. This is different. All right. And because it's different, and it's really not just providing you with a thing, for the money you buy. It's really, really giving you an experience that you've probably never had before, So, so he talked about that. He also talked about, what is the game? What is the peak? He's talked about reallocating our attention, okay? Creating moments to help people reallocate their attention. All right. So for a lot of trainings that I've gone to, especially like leadership and soft skill type things, the thing that gets people's attention most is their phone. Okay, is their phone. And and other stuff, especially if it's during the work week. They're thinking about other stuff. And if it's a compliance, if they're in the training because they have to be, then you could just hang it up. Okay. So here he's talking about creating ways to help people reallocate their attention, because our attention is like currency. Everybody wants it. Okay. Everybody wants our attention. Where are we going to spend it? All right. So he said, when you're able to create moments, one of these moments, epics, of elevation, pride, insight, or connection, you are actually commanding people's attention. And he said, the way if you have created a moment like that, okay, or one of the main ways is if they take pictures. If you see people pulling out their phone, you got them. You got them. Okay. He said, the way you create fans is with peak moments. All right. He said, when you create these kinds of moments, you want to break the script. Do something unexpected. All right. Do things that the person would never have thought of. Right. I went to this one training on mindset, and I remember this to this day, right? Because I've never experienced that. They actually had us call our colleagues at work and ask them a question that was in the workbook we were doing, which I loved. I love that. I'd never experienced that in a training before. Actually bringing the world in, okay? Instead of trying to manufacture it, there in the room, bring that shit in. It's right there, okay? So I really enjoyed that. And I remember that, okay? They absolutely did break the script with that one. He said, focus on meaning, not money, which is fortuitous, because I just in my Patreon wrote an article called Create Value, Not Money. All right. Because the people that we know as rich or wealthy, like Jeff Bezos and the Facebook dude, and all these people, Uber, all that, They are wealthy first because of the value they created, not because of the money they have. Okay. It's the chicken and the egg. The value came before the money. All right. So create value. Don't make money. Okay. Because that's the thing that's gonna get you there. Is if you become a person of value instead of a rich person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. He said focus on meaning, not money. And another thing that happens when you create a peak, when you are designing your training or your marketing strategy, whatever it is you're doing, people dress differently. Think about transitions, okay? Graduation. Um, you just turned 21. Think about the way you dress compared to every day, okay? Divorce. A lot of women cut their hair. Something is different. All right, something is different in these peak moments. All right. So he said, think about that. Up the ante. Go ahead and stretch yourself a little bit. He talked about how in high school, two high school teachers were really interested in having their students like learning. Because what they noticed was the students would, when school was over, like the things they would talk about would be the games, the homecoming, prom. Nobody really talked about, well, what happened in class, because it wasn't memorable. It just wasn't memorable. So these two teachers, they said, we want to create a learning experience that's better than prom. Okay, they will get that excited about what they're going to do here. And they did. So what the teachers did was they had the students read a book. It was something about human rights or something. I forget what it was exactly. But then they put on a trial, like the trial of human rights or the trial of human something. And it was real. They got a real courtroom in the community. All right. They had a judge. The students acted as the defense attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Are those different ones? Yeah. So the two attorneys, the students were in the audience. They picked real jurors. So they actually had a trial. And some of the people they would have on trial would be celebrities. They would be everyday people. He mentioned one of them, you had Tupac and they had to dress the part. All right. They had to dress the part. And at the end, the jury would decide and give the verdict on who won. They said this was so good. And the kids, they went above and beyond what they were required to do as far as the learning material in school. They went above and beyond that to be sure that they did well for this trial. He said one of the teachers who created it saw one of the students afterwards, after his the person he was representing was found not guilty. He was just so excited. She said he was just running and yelling down the hall, just so happy, and that's what they were looking for. That's exactly what they wanted. Okay. That is absolutely a peak moment. So he said that the kids now in the college, first of all, other teachers started doing this because they saw how amazing it was. And their students were like, why don't we do something like that? So they did. And so the model of that has been implemented in various high schools in the United States. Okay. So related to that, and this is the last thing for chapters 1 through 4 of the book. He said, don't chicken out. Okay. If you're going to use a real courtroom, for example, get a real courtroom. Okay. Because what's going to happen is the excuses are going to come out. oh, we can't afford it, you know, we can't get everybody there on the bus. You're going to find 101 reasons not to create this moment the way it should be. All right. He said, don't let that, go ahead and push that down and just make it happen. Okay. Because it will absolutely 100% pay off in the end. And for these people, at least it did. It absolutely did. All right. So that's chapter 1 through 4 of The Power of Moments. Listen, I told you it's good already. I'm telling you, I can't wait to get to the rest of it. So the next time we meet up, we're gonna do at least the next 4, you know, possibly more. But I put the link. I hope this link works the way it needs to work. Okay, because I haven't been very successful with doing these unlisted Patreon videos, but we'll see what happens. All right. And there's going to be some notes about what I talked about tonight. I think I have it scheduled to come out tomorrow. All right. So go ahead and comment under the post where this video is. And I'm going to see you in Patreon. Okay. Bye-bye.